is policing in America systematically a racist enterprise? I'd like to think not, because I do believe most cops are far more good than bad. But when every black man in America believes that getting stopped by the cops is a traumatic experience, something happened somehow, somewhere. And I'd like to have a systematic approach to problems that continue to happen over and over again. So there are a lot of ideas coming from different corners of the political spectrum. The question for the committee: is it possible to find common ground? The answer is obviously yes, if we want to. As chairman, I would like to.
I worry in this moment, I really do, that we're going to repeat history, that this is the movie Groundhog Day. Because here we are again, in a nightmare, not a comedy. That here we hear talks of, again, a so-called reform packages, more studies, more nibbling around the edges, as opposed to acting boldly and doing the things that we actually know will hold police officers accountable for their conduct, which will set meaningful standards, will allow us as a federal government to enforce a law. This is not an overstatement or an over-dramatization to say that the stakes right now are high. Will we meet this moment in history and actually do something real, or will we find ourselves back here again a year from now, 3 years from now, with mass protests in the streets by people of all different backgrounds demanding change? The question is not, will we get there? The question is the time now. How many more people have to die in our streets to get us there? How many more people have to suffer the indignities that even our own colleagues have talked about in the United States Senate? I believe the time should be now for us to make bold change, or we will be back here again. These changes will happen, but they should not happen someday. This should be the day. This should be the time, so that we can ensure that this nightmare ends in America.
Today, President Trump issued an executive order calling for accreditation standards for police departments, data sharing on police officers who use excessive force, and federal funding to help police respond to the homeless and mentally ill. Let me be clear, this is not enough. It does not meet this moment. This is not enough. There are thousands of people marching in the streets in 50 states demanding meaningful change. The people are demanding action. They are not marching in the streets for watered-down proposals that won't hold any officers accountable. And there is nothing about what the president announced today that would hold police officers who break the rules and break the law accountable. We've seen enough. We've had enough commissions. We have studied these issues. We have convened opinion leaders. We have talked about these in private conversations and in public conversations. Now is time to act. The people are demanding it. And they have a right to know that their government, a representative government of the people, will respond to their needs for us as a country to live up to our ideals.
I want to note that this murder happened in my state. And George Floyd should be alive today, but he isn't. His life evaporated before our eyes, before the eyes of the world. Our nation has been left in pain. My state has been left in pain, grieving, marching, and demanding justice. This is not a time to just talk about it. If we are silent, we are complicit. If we stand there and demand dominance and wave Bibles, we're no better than monsters. But if we act and we actually do something and get this bill passed, well, then we're lawmakers. And that will be the legacy of George Floyd.
Mr. Goff, you'll lead us off.